Welcome back to my Scape Universe. It's your boy R's back again on another video. So as per usual, I'm late on fucking super related news. I saw this on a couple other major Dragon Ball YouTubers channels talking about this interview between whoever the interviewer was and the producer Satoru Takami and the series director Ryota Nakamura. So I'm gonna be going over that. I'm gonna be going over the Kanzenshu, like the majority of the interview. A lot of other people just covered the fucking Herm's translations and his bullet points. I'm going to be covering other parts because I feel like there was a lot more important shit in this interview that wasn't covered in those bullet points. So I'm going to be talking about that here, and I'm also going to link that down below. So let's jump into this shit. The first thing they talked about is stuff that we already know, that this entire thing is based off of fucking Toriyama's original draft. It's basically just a manuscript, and these guys try to interpret it to the best of their ability, which obviously shows with this fucking Universe to Survival arc, and not to mention they had several writers, which fucked it up even more. The other interesting point was that the initial characters, or the characters that were in the initial draft, were Jiren, Toppo, Dispo, and Kitella. Not sure why Kitella was grouped in with those guys, but I mean, I guess Jiren, Toppo, and Dispo make sense because they're like the top three antagonists that these guys have faced as a whole. If we're talking about foes that Goku would struggle with, then the only person that he's really fought is Jiren, and the others would be like Kefla, Khalifa, Kale, and all those other motherfuckers. Funny enough, the rest of the Universe 11 Pride Troopers were not a part of his original design. So like the other seven of the fucking Pride Troopers were made by the Toei writers. They weren't made by Toriyama himself. Another interesting point in the slide where they talked about Universe 11's Pride Troopers, where they were talking about the Pride Trooper designs, is that there was no information indicating Jiren's personality, and they were going to make him like a very talkative guy who constantly shouted justice, justice, justice. And Toriyama basically said no, he's a guy that doesn't speak, and that's when he gave them a fucking Toguro and Batman backstory. So Toriyama, guys, fucking brilliant, man. He's so brilliant. And so Toppo is basically got the fucking leftovers of Jiren's personality. That's cool. So Toppo is basically discount Jiren. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed it all? Over here they talked about how Toppo was included for candidate for God of Destruction, so we fleshed that out a bit. No. That's funny as fuck. We fleshed out Toppo's fucking backstory by giving him two sentences of dialogues to explain why he suddenly says fuck justice. There's actually been no explanation about why he's about justice, like, at all. It has not been explained, and his character development was him just saying fuck justice out of nowhere with no build-up for that whatsoever. I don't think these guys know what fucking character development is, but they need to fucking find somebody else to teach them how that shit works. For Dispo, which is also interesting, is they made him take the shape of a cocky character because of this guy they casted who's Ben Shimada. I can't remember who else he fucking played in the series because I'm not getting paid for this, so I don't know enough about the fucking casting decisions and shit like that. But he's another guy that's on the cast, so they made him take the shape of the personality of something that he would typically play. The only thing that I saw from him being a cocky character was that he was fucking not Birder. That was about it. Like, he's literally the super version of Birder, constantly claiming to be the fastest motherfucker, like, all time, and being extra cocky when there's no reason for him to be that cocky. Sure, okay. Another interesting point is that they go over that Ribrianne's fat appearance was designed by Toriyama, but the concept of him transforming, or her transforming, came from the fucking Toei writers. So that explains why in the manga, why Ribrianne doesn't transform and she is just by default in her fat form, whereas in the anime, they put the magical girl shit. So, can you say marketing? Oh, man. The next thing they go over is that Caulifla is another one of Toriyama's designs. So, but she wasn't a part of the original draft, and they were talking about Broly, how that was very popular, and that's how they came up with Kale. So, more shit that I have literally been saying for months, that this entire fucking show is just a giant marketing ploy at this point to sell toys. Those are just facts, man. Even Masako was saying this shit before I was. Like, that's the funny part. Masako was talking about this shit way fucking before I pointed this out. So, there's your fucking answer. They made Kale because Broly, and Caulifla came afterwards because Toriyama basically approved the Kale idea and made Caulifla to go along with her. So for the motherfuckers that try to play off that Kale and Caulifla aren't canon and that this wasn't the idea of Toriyama, first of all, what? Second of all, he literally approved it and then made Caulifla. He's fucking guilty in this shit. I don't understand the blind defense of fucking Toriyama. I don't get it. If this was any other fucking author for any other major series, he would be taking so much fucking shit for it. But because it's Toriyama, no one fucking criticizes him, and almost no one talks shit about this guy, because Toriyama is their god, and they can't be asked to bash him. But they'll fucking bash all the writers of the series. They'll bash the series director and the producer, but Toriyama himself? Nah. Fuck, they'll even bash Toyotaro, even though Toyotaro, he's writing the manga right now, and that shit is way better than this trash. I can't be asked with this shit, man. It's whatever. The Vegeta party interview. Oh, this fucking, this opened up some old wounds for me. I'll read out a little bit of it. So, basically, one of the first things they start off with is that, the scene of Vegeta thinking of his family leaves an incredibly deep impression. Yeah, maybe if you're like fucking 10? Maybe. I guess. My whole thing with fucking Vegeta is that he waited all the way until the end of the goddamn tournament to think of his family. Prior to that, he literally was just thinking of Cabba. Like, the whole fucking tournament. It was just Cabba. The guy that I haven't known for 24 hours. Cabba, my fucking pseudo-student. Cabba. Like, that was literally part of his motivation for the majority of the fucking tournament. And even his transformation, whatever it's called, Ultra Blue or whatever the fuck you want to call it, was also triggered by him thinking of Cabba. Okay, sure. Great character development, Vegeta. Before the Tournament of Power began, Vegeta was fidgety over his child being born. Okay, and that was some good character development. He cares more about his family than he did when he was in fucking Z, where it took him like fucking 8 years to hold his son. So yeah, improvement. He even stopped training for a while, and blah 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 blah. As the scenario played out, it started to flow naturally with him fighting for his pride and his family during the latter half. No, it should have been fucking fighting for his pride and his family towards the middle when you guys started using him more, not literally at the fucking end of the tournament when before all that all he was thinking about was Cabba and nothing else. If he loses in the Tournament of Power, then his universe might be destroyed and his family wiped out. He sure was acting like he didn't fucking care. Remember the when Goku was charging up his spirit bomb and he just said, "Fuck you, Goku"? Yeah, he didn't seem to really care about his family or his universe then. He just kind of said, "Fuck you, Goku. I know that you're fighting someone that poses the greatest threat, but you know, fuck you. I don't want to help you out right here. It would be nothing for me to give you some ki from my basically infinite ki reserves, but for this, nah, I don't feel like it." Viewing this light, I started to think that Vegeta might actually be the most. He is the most motivated on the stage. It's just that his motivations are fucking all over the goddamn place, and half of his motivation is trash. Vegeta would never say so out loud. He's hell-bent on making sure the newborn Broadshot isn't wiped out. Okay, that's cool. In the sense that he probably has a firmer resolution than anyone. Yeah, he probably does. But you have to be careful not to let Dragon Ball get too sentimental. Yet you made Vegeta cry like a little bitch when he got eliminated. Okay. And Vegeta isn't the sort of person to hold his child and go, "That's a good girl. He's a man of many faces." Blah, blah, blah. Says he's a character who doesn't usually express his feelings in Dragon Ball. That makes him the easiest one to use to express things like love for one's family. Yeah. Oh, okay. This is a fucking loaded one. A loaded paragraph. Is it my imagination, or did you put a lot of effort into depicting Vegeta? I don't know who you are, interviewer, but it's your imagination. Yep. They might have put some fucking effort into depicting him before the fucking Tournament of Power started, but during it? Pfft, dead. Did I? I didn't intend to. You didn't. Vegeta is right up there with Goku in terms of battle power. Personally, I intend on putting more effort into the warriors like Turtle Hermit or Krillin. And at first made you ask why they bring these guys along. And it's because Toriyama selected them. So the writers didn't decide who was going to be put into the tournament. That was all Toriyama. So the lineup is all on him. If he was looking for battle power, then it would only have brought along people who could go Super Saiyan, like Goten and Trunks. I think Toriyama Sensei went out of his way to select those people as a way to telling us to have fights that would put them to good use, rather than simply having characters win by going Super Saiyan.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
My my boy. What? You wanted to have characters that didn't win simply by going Super Saiyan. Motherfucker, Goku has gone Super Saiyan Blue literally 15 fucking times or more in this tournament. Vegeta has gone Super Saiyan Blue 10 times minimum in this tournament. And then you're talking about fucking Roshi and Krillin. First of all, you gave Krillin all this motherfucking screen time before the tournament and fucking made it seem like, oh man, he's gonna be fucking awesome. You had him beat Gohan. You had him matching a Super Saiyan Blue Goku Kamehameha. And yeah, I know he was suppressed. Fuck off, okay? It was stupid as shit. You had him overcome his fear of previous villains and had him get his courage back. And then after all of that shit, he goes into the tournament, eliminates 2 people, and then gets knocked off. Really? This was your idea of how to utilize fucking Krillin. Build him up for several fucking episodes, and then let him get knocked out like a little bitch. And then have him being a cheerleader for the rest of the tournament. This is great writing. Great writing. As for fucking Roshi, this guy, the first elimination that he got was just stupid. Like, this girl was acting like Roshi was about to fucking rape her. And then the next 2 eliminations, I believe, was him literally just yelling, Mafuba! Which is a technique that ignores durability. He got his badass moment against Ganos, but that shit didn't make any sense. I still don't understand how he beat Ganos. Ganos, by every measure, should have been way superior to this guy. I don't know why Roshi was in this fucking tournament except for marketing. I don't. There's no real argument for why Goten or Trunks shouldn't have been in this shit. There's no real argument. The only reason why you put Krillin and Roshi in there was because Roshi got no fucking shine throughout all of Dragon Ball Z, and Krillin is Goku's best friend. That's it. Like, that, they only got put in for name recognition alone. That's it. Goten or Trunks would have been better choices. This is really, it's not fucking debatable. And the excuses that I hear for why Goten and Trunks were not in this tournament is fucking mind-boggling to me. People keep saying, well, Goten and Trunks would have played around too much. Goten and Trunks wouldn't have been a match for the guys on the stage. Oh, the stage full of nothing but fodder. The guys who were stronger than Krillin and Roshi, but they would have been less of a match than Krillin and Roshi. Sound logic. And the third reason is because they're children. So let me get this straight. So you put them up against one of the strongest motherfuckers in the universe in Dragon Ball Z, who was Majin Buu. You had him go up against that motherfucker. No issues then. But now when you have the choice for them to step up to the plate once more and give them some more character development, right? And let them fight for the universe once again. No. Excuse me. What? How have you come to that conclusion? Goten and Trunks, if they had gotten the same level of fucking Toriyama hand jobs as Krillin and Roshi got, they would have stopped the majority of the people on this fucking stage. No difficulty. They definitely would have did more than fucking Krillin. Krillin did nothing. And Roshi, the only good part of Roshi was him just yelling Mafuba over and over again. Wow, the guy who has one technique that's incredibly overpowered. Okay, great utilization of one of the OG characters of Dragon Ball. Not to mention that Goten and Trunks could have fused and went into Gotenks, and base Gotenks would have fucking destroyed everybody on the stage. Or at least, I'm sorry, not everybody, that's an exaggeration. Most of the people on the stage. Because remember, this tournament is only 48 minutes long, right? It's only 48 minutes. If these guys had done, if they just fucked around for like 15 minutes of the tournament and just, knocked people out in Super Saiyan, and then, like 30 minutes in, decided to fuse into Gotenks, if they just stayed in base, they could have stayed in Gotenks for like the rest of the fucking tournament, in theory, because it has a 30-minute time limit. Like, like literally, base Gotenks would have been tens of hundreds of times stronger than Krillin and Roshi combined. So there's no real excuses for why they were in this tournament, but whatever. I'm sorry that I kind of went off on a rant and a tangent there, but the plane of logic that people use makes no fucking sense to me sometimes. It was nice that Frieza giving Goku some ki. That wasn't a part of Toriyama's original original draft. I thought of having it opposite of on Planet Namek, with Frieza now being the one to donate his ki. I mean, it wasn't a bad idea. I'm not gonna say that I hated this decision. A lot of people keep saying that Frieza has regressed as a character, which I 100% disagree with. I made a video on that. If you guys want to go watch that shit after that, I'll put that in the link down in the description. But I mean, it made sense because basically the whole idea of Frieza was that he was doing shit out of character because he was trying to get his wish of controlling the gods. That fucking wish of literally multiversal domination excuses any quote-unquote regressions on his character, because he's only doing it because he's trying to do as little work as humanly possible so he can stay on the stage longer, and B, at the end of it, he could become serious, and that's what he did, by the way. He became more serious towards the end of the tournament. Then, once he's the last person standing on the stage, then he can get his fucking wish if he wins. So, I'm not going to say that I hated this part of Frieza. I feel like Frieza was one of the most well-done parts of this fucking tournament. It just sucks to know that Frieza, I mean, I think that Frieza is going to win the tournament, but let's be real, he's probably not, because him getting a wish of fucking multiversal domination would just be, that'd just be an atrocious idea. It would be a good idea on a marketing standpoint, but it would be a terrible idea because, at the same time, because you don't know how they're gonna fucking move forward from that. So, he goes over basically what I just said, which is that if Goku were ringed out, it'd be a problem for Frieza, because again, he's using Goku so he can stay on stage longer. With that in mind, I didn't think it was unnatural for him to act like that. I agree. Nakamura, me and you are on the same page. I view Frieza-san as someone who will use whatever means necessary to get what he wants. Yes! Yes! You fucking get it. This man gets it. I kind of like you. Kind of. I hate you, but I kind of like you for that alone. They talked about 18 and Ribrian's Battle of Love. I mean, I feel like they didn't really hone in on that enough. I feel like it was a good part of the episode they covered it. It was one of the better parts, but it wasn't like one of the most interesting dynamics of the episode. Just kind of those things where they do in there. Just like, okay, fair enough. I see the two really are mirror images of each other. Agree, blah, 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 blah. I think Krillin is incredible. Krillin is a cheerleader. Like, let's be real. You made him into a fucking cheerleader. There's nothing incredible about this guy. I think it's incredible that a fucking bald midget got, 2 fucking supermodels. But, I mean, that's about it. 18 and Vegeta are both people who don't ordinarily express their thoughts. They certainly don't, blah, blah, blah. They might not say it out loud, but when the time comes, they'll protect or save everyone. Blah, blah, blah. 18 as well loves Krillin, but usually keeps quiet about it. I think Dragon Ball is fundamentally a gathering of those sorts of people. No, I mean, my whole thing with fucking 18 is that, I like the character development that she was getting before this shit. You know, towards the middle of the tournament and all that. I liked all that. I had no issues with that. Even her saving 17, I was fine with. But that part where she fucking cried over 17 dying was some of the most forced shit that I've ever seen, dude. I mean, literally her brother dies in front of her eyes, and she wasn't, like, she cried about it, and then, like, literally within a few seconds, she, like, immediately got over it. Like, there was no point in putting that scene in. It was just fucking really contrived, man. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I feel like that was one of the few parts I disliked about 18 this tournament. That part where she had the force being upset over 17, that kind of bothered me. That's not how emotions work. You don't fucking cry for 30 seconds over your twin dying and then like a minute later look like you're bored out of your fucking mind and you don't really care anymore. That's weird as fuck to me. Like, either have them cry or don't. Okay? Don't force emotion. The last thing that I wanted to cover was, I see sort of letting Fist do the talking. And this is the fucking key point here. I want children to pick up on what Jiren feels or learns and feels from fighting Goku. So, this show, in case you already didn't know, was made for children. These guys have basically conceded that they have not written Dragon Ball Super for original fans of the series. This was not written for Dragon Ball fans. This was not written for Dragon Ball Z fans. This was made for children. Because children, right, have not either are not aware of the original Dragon Ball. They haven't watched Dragon Ball Z. They probably watched Dragon Ball Kai, but not Dragon Ball Z. And they made this series for them. This entire fucking anime is a marketing ploy to target this audience of children. That's it. Like, there's nothing really else for me to talk about in this fucking blurb, really. But that's the only thing I wanted to say, just to emphasize. So, all these motherfuckers have been out here defending this shitty ass writing, right? And claiming that these writers and shit care about the original fans of the franchise don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't, because this shit was made for children. That's the reason why Dragon Ball Super in Japan is towards the morning time block, because that's where children watch the shit. Like 8-year-olds, they watch Super. This wasn't made for fucking real fans of the franchise. Or I hate the word fucking real fans. I'm sorry, I'll stop using that. That's a fucking no true Scotsman fallacy. This wasn't made for the original fans of the franchise. That's better. Other than that's the only thing that I want to talk about. I don't know how long I've been going on this shit, but I felt like I needed to cover this in as much detail as humanly possible. I'm gonna be making a video on why Vegeta's character has ultimately regressed, because for some reason everybody fires shots at fucking Frieza, and no one seems to think that Vegeta's character has regressed in any capacity. So I'm gonna be making a video about that next week or a couple weeks after that. I don't know. I should be dropping a video either Friday or Saturday, but I'm definitely going to be making another manga review on Sunday, so look forward to that as well. Other than that, that's all I have to say. Like I said, in the description, whole interview if you want to read it. Your boy Ars is out.